It's Men's Mental Health Month, and there's been a lot of posts on social media highlighting the fact that June is Men's Mental Health Month. And I thought that, look, it's all good to bring awareness about the month and what it's intended for. But I think one of the most important things, and especially from my own experience, is having some sort of tools to be able to deal with one's challenges. And being someone who has faced his own challenges in the past, I want to share with you things that have helped me to be able to face and conquer those challenges. And it's something that I've continued to use throughout the years, and it's still something that's very important to me, especially from a daily practice. And I think when it comes to men's mental health, it's always considered a bit of a taboo subject, because of society and the definition of what a man is. And a man cannot have feelings or cannot show his feelings, must always be strong all the time, able to conquer whatever it is that he may be faced with. And yes, in fairness, you are able to conquer anything that's put in front of you. But to say that one does not have challenges that they deal with is incorrect. And to even believe that as a man you don't have any emotions, or it's improper for you to express emotions, is also improper. And lack of a better word, it's absolute garbage. So these things that I want to share with you are going to enable you to have the ability to talk about how you may be feeling, stresses that you may have. Also, they're going to enable you to empty your mind, being able to be in the present moment, and overall to have an identity that says, look, whatever life may throw at me or whatever challenges that I'm facing, I know that I'm going to be able to overcome these. I've got the capacity and the capabilities to be able to overcome these, and better days and brighter days are ahead of me. And also just to appreciate what you actually have, because we spend so much time thinking of what we want or what we don't have, but what's most important is to appreciate the present day and what you have. So to start off, these things that I've used before, and some of them I continue to use, is that one of the biggest fundamentals and challenges as a man is the ability to talk. As a man, sometimes you feel like you can't talk to people, or if you talk to people, you're going to get judged, and you're going to be perceived to be a certain way of being weak or something, as society esteems that a man must never have problems or emotional challenges. They must always be on the money. So one thing that you can use as a resource is the South African Depression and Anxiety Group. It's a hotline that you can call. It's toll free. It is anonymous. And what it really helps with is the ability to just talk to someone and have no sense of judgment or feelings of what's going to happen when I see this person tomorrow or what they're going to think of me. It's totally anonymous. You can even chat to them on WhatsApp. You literally pick up the phone, call them. You can call them from your cell phone. It's a toll-free number. Someone greets you on the other side, and they ask, what's going on? And you can just talk and say whatever it is that you may be feeling or want to express, because sometimes there are things that we want to say, and we don't know where to say it or whom to say it to. This just gives you the opportunity to get off your chest whatever it is that you need to get it off. And I promise you that afterwards, you're going to feel much, much better being able to talk to someone and being able to get off your chest whatever it is that you wanted to get off your chest. And the great thing about it is that once you hang up that phone, you're never going to hear that person again or see them. There's no worry of that. And the great thing about it, like depending on what circumstances that you may be in, they are able to advise you in terms of where to seek further help and what other resources that you may be able to have or need in order to help you face the issues or challenges that you may be facing. The second most important thing is keeping a journal. I journal on a daily basis. It's one of the first things that I do in the morning. The great thing about journaling is that it enables you to empty your mind. And by emptying your mind is that we constantly have these thoughts and dramas that are going on in our minds, or you had an incident with someone or altercation, or you don't know how to deal with this certain situation. And now you're playing it in your mind over and over and over and over again until it consumes you and it's the only thing that you are able to think about. So what journaling does, the thoughts that you have, you put them down on paper, you express how you feel, because this is your journal. Like this is no one else who's going to read this. It's literally sort of talking to yourself. Like you write it down as if you are talking to someone and you're expressing how you feel. And as you continue to do this on a daily basis, you are able to empty your mind of your thoughts. And once you create room in your mind, you are able to put different thoughts and different conversations into your mind. So what I do every day, I spend about 15 to 30 minutes just writing down whatever is on my mind, whatever comes to my mind. It's not a predetermined story of dear diary, I am feeling. No, it's literally thoughts that are running on my mind, and I'm able to empty my mind of whatever thoughts that I may have woken up with, and I can able to tackle the day. So this is my main journal that I use on a daily basis. You can get an exercise book, an A4. What I also do, I keep a gratitude journal. So this is my gratitude journal. Every day before I jump into bed, I write down 5 things that I'm grateful for. On the top of the list for me is always being grateful for life. But also what I followed the journal with, it does not have to be anything that is huge. We sometimes forget to be grateful for the little things, like having shoes to put on every day, having electricity, even though we live in South Africa and it's amazing that we've had so many months of constant electricity, but those things to be grateful for, being grateful for the food that you ate, being grateful for having kids that call you daddy and say, I love you, being grateful for having a sunny day after you've had a week of constant cold and the rain. And you'll be surprised that on a daily basis, just having a sense of gratitude, how it changes your mood and uplifts you. And the crazy thing about it is that the more you sit in a constant state of gratitude, you are able to sort of attract better things into your life, and you're able to attract more things to be grateful for. So one thing that must never take for granted is a sense of gratitude. Another thing that helps me a lot is meditation, or how other people like to say it, mindfulness. How we cause ourselves a lot of suffering, and it's majority of the suffering is that we are either stuck in a state of thinking of the past or thinking of the future. So the past creates a lot of what if I could have, and that leads you down a path of depression. And thinking about the future, most of the time we create dramas in our heads, and then what you do is that you build anxiety. So you are constantly moving between a state of depression and a state of anxiety. I could have done this, I should have done this, or something like this could happen, or let me try and avoid. And then it's constant back and forth, and you create a lot of suffering for yourself. So what meditation does is that it literally enables you to turn down the volume on thinking about the past, thinking about the future. And the more constant you are with your meditation practice or mindfulness, the more and more you're able to turn down the volume of going back to the past or thinking about the future. And the more you're able to do that, you are now able to focus on the present moment. And you are able to realize how amazing it is just to be in the present moment, not worrying about the past and what might happen. And then what this also does is that it enables you to focus on whatever tasks or challenges that you need to have. So you're able to deal with these things straight on. And one thing that I appreciate about meditation is that when it comes to work, when I sit down, completely focused on it, I'm in the zone, killing what I need to kill. Or if you need to get into a zone of creativity where maybe it's a project or a challenge that you have and you need to be creative about it, you are able to tap into that source. For me, meditation is one of the most critical things that I do on a daily basis. It has completely changed my life. It has changed where I focus my attention. And also, Another thing that helps with meditation is that when you are in the present moment, you're no longer distracted, and whatever issues that you may need to be dealing with, it allows you the opportunity to deal with that issue or those emotions. Yes, it's not always the greatest experience to go through or the greatest moment, but the more you're able to process emotions and feelings and thoughts, the better your life is, because you no longer carry these things. Like literally, the more you process emotions, that emotion that you felt, once you process it, it's gone. Like it's never gonna come back. So you no longer have this baggage that's sitting on your shoulders that's weighing you down, and you actually end up feeling like you back in your 20s. Like for me personally, I turned 40 this year, but I honestly feel like I'm a 21-year-old. Like from a physical perspective and an emotional perspective, I don't feel 40. Well, I don't know how 40 is meant to feel like, but I know what I felt like when I was in my early 20s, and this is how I'm literally feeling like. Practice or adopt a practice of meditation. I spend an hour a day. If you're starting off, at least try and push for 15 minutes of meditation. If you don't know how to meditate, there's a ton of YouTube videos that you can search for, or even Google 15 meditation practice, and you're able to do that. And once you get into it, you'll be able to grow in your practice, and I promise you'll never regret it. Another thing that is extremely important, and I'm sure to a degree you may be able to do, you are doing this already, is exercising, having some form of exercise on a daily basis. We wake up in the morning with our stress levels through the roof, or we have a stressful day. We need an external outlet to release all that tension and stress, and exercising is absolutely crucial. The normal sort of standard exercise is going to gym, but if you don't have the means or are unable to go to the gym, one thing that you can do on a daily basis when you wake up is go for a 30-minute walk. You'll be surprised what it does for you in terms of emptying your mind and also decreasing your stress. And I promise you, once you're done, you are feeling absolutely amazing, because all the happy hormones have been pumping back into your body. So it's either you can go to the gym, go for a walk, or on a daily basis just do 100 push-ups. At least do something just to get the blood pumping and to get the stress hormones low and increase your happy hormones. One of the fundamental things in terms of changing our reality or our day-to-day is the conversation that's happening in our minds. And more than anything, it's all about identity that one has about themselves or whatever challenges. Is that, we all have had different pasts and upbringings and things we've experienced. We've dealt with people saying negative things to us or doing negative things to us, and we actually get up to the point where you start believing whatever it is that people have said to you, and you start thinking that's who you are. And the more you think of something, the more it actually manifests. So one of the most important things is changing the conversation that goes on in your head. And one of the great ways to change the conversation is through reading. The reading that I'm referring to is more of self-growth. Some classify it as self-help books. If you want to read nonfiction, that's cool. But I think for me, there's a few books that I've read that have had a tremendous impact on me, and also the state and conversations that I have with myself. The first book that I will recommend is The Power of Now. It's a book by Eckhart Tolle. It helps you to have a better interaction with yourself. It helps you to stay in the present moment, and it also helps you to be okay with yourself. When you are okay with yourself and you're okay with this dude and you're loving this dude, and this is the most precious, important person, the world starts reflecting that. So I would absolutely, if you ever were to read one book, is to read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It totally changed my life. The second book that I would suggest, it's called Soundtracks by John Acuff. The amazing thing about this book, the reason why I took it, is that at the time I was suffering from being an overthinker. overthinking things, something happens, you overthink it a million times over. So what this book is centered around is changing the soundtrack that plays in your head, changing the story that you're telling yourself on a daily basis, putting more positive stories in your head, putting more positive affirmations, being able to, like, certain things, telling yourself that being uncomfortable is just a sign that my old comfort zone is having a hard time keeping up with me. Another one is telling yourself that things are always working out for you, telling yourself that the universe at all times is always working in your favor. So what it helps with, the more and more you have these kind of conversations in your head, it leads you down a positive path, and you are able to stay in a more positive state rather than always trying to go back to the negative. Because at the end of the day, you have control over your mind. The mind does not have control over you. You are the one who's in charge, and you can always direct it either to a negative path or a positive path. So these 5 things are what I use on a daily basis to help me grow my mental resilience and lead me down a much better and more positive path. If you go to gym or you exercise, you know that you don't see results in one day. It's all about consistency and staying on the path. And yes, you might do this one or a couple of days and you might not see a difference. But I promise you, if you stick to this and you do it on a daily basis, 3 weeks from now, you will see a tremendous change in yourself, both on a physical, emotional, and spiritual level. If you stick on this for the next 3 to 6 months, you're going to be unrecognizable. You're going to be a completely different person, and it's all up to you. And one thing that I always tell myself whenever I'm embarking on a new task or new challenge is that the next 1 to 3 months, they're going to go by whether I like it or not. 3 months from now, do I still want to be in the position that I am right now? Or do I want to be a completely different version of myself? And the answer is always easy. I want to be better than what I am today. So it's all up to you. No one is going to do it for you. You have to, as the saying goes, grab the bull by the horns and get stuck in. And things do happen, and we find ourselves through tremendous trials and circumstances and challenges. But one thing that you must always tell yourself is that you have the power to change your life at any time. It just takes you believing in yourself and that you have the power and the capabilities to do it. And the crazy thing is that everything that you are wanting to do or you are needing, you have it already. You just have to give yourself the permission. And however you may be when you find this message or watch this video, is that better days are ahead of you, and I wish you all the best. And you are a flipping champion, and you are still going to do some flipping amazing things. You are actually going to surprise yourself in terms of what is yet to come in store for you. So hang in there. You've got the power to do it. Get stuck in.